I mentioned, our sales pipeline is strong, not just for human challenge trials, but also for the service line that the CRS is working on, and also our laboratory. So I expect our proposals submitted this year to be significantly higher than in 2024, both from human challenge trials point of view, but also from our laboratory services we're offering and CRS.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by hVIVO Chief Executive Mo Khan. Mo, very good to speak with you this morning. You've provided a trading update for the first 6 months of the year. Could you give us an overview of the key financial metrics for the first half?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me on your platform here. So first half, we've recognized revenue of around £24 million. This is especially driven by some strong growth in our newly diversified services, especially in laboratory services under hLab, and also the clinical services, which now, of course, includes the new acquisition of CRS. We have EBITDA margins, pre-exceptions around 12%. This is mainly driven through some operational efficiencies, good cost control by our team, as well as the upfront non-refundable fee that we recognized due to some cancellations that we have reported on earlier this year. We're debt-free, as you know. We have a cash deposit of around just over £23 million as of end of June of this year. The major factors impacting the cash, of course, are the two acquisitions that we undertook earlier this year of CRS in January and Cryostore in February. So as a company, financially, we are in a very good place. We have laid the foundation for long-term growth, and we hope to continue to build on our new service lines, both organic and also the inorganic services, and while maintaining the tight cost controls that we have. So for 2026, I think we will see a pretty good year of growth compared to 2025.
You mentioned the CRS and Cryostore acquisitions. How's the integration process going, Mo?
Yeah, so integration has gone well. I mean, majority of it, to be honest, is well on its way. Most of it is complete, especially on the operational side. So we acquired CRS and Cryostore for around £11 million net of cash acquired. This excludes any transaction fees. CRS have delivered around £5.2 million of revenue over the last 5 months, so from February to June of this year. So as we acquired them at the end of January of this year. Cryostore have recognized around £300,000, a much smaller company for the first half of this year, from end of February to end of June. We quickly formed an integration team constituting representatives from all the different entities. The operational teams are already aligned, working well together. Remember, we are more or less delivering the same services, just in different stages of the clinical development cycle. So having the project management team or the quality assurance team and so on being aligned, it's fairly straightforward, but you do have to manage the people through the process. The back-end office is also kind of well on its way, so this includes HR and finance and IT and so on. In fact, the major kind of system integration is the key process that we are still undertaking, and we hope to complete all of that towards the end of this year. So I'm very pleased with the new teams we have now on board with hVIVO, and we've already seen some really good successes, the way the people are working together and the way that our customers are now perceiving us with regards to offering fuller services at the early phase of clinical trials.
The CRO industry's faced some market headwinds recently. How's this impacted the company, Mo?
You're absolutely right on that. So the whole industry has been impacted, and if you go and look at some of the updates from some of our peers, and they've all kind of reached similar conclusions, unfortunately. So there's really two key areas that are having this impact. So one is the depressed biotech funding environment, which has been there for more than 2 or 3 years, and that's still unfortunately ongoing. And the second one is mainly driven by the changes in the US, especially with regards to the DHHS staff changes and the FDA and the NIH and so on. And some of that volatility basically has meant that our customers are not making decisions on clinical trial execution as fast as they did previously, and they're waiting to see on the outcome of, for example, the drug tariffs or the most favored nation pricing structure and so on. So all of that basically means we're not closing as many trials. We've also had some cancellation, but going forward, we are already seeing some good uptick. So if you look at our sales pipeline, in the first 6 months of this year, for example, we submitted more proposals than the whole of 2024. And also this volatility in the US means that a lot of the US companies, or at least a number of them, are now looking to place their trials overseas and not just do them in the US. And that gives us additional opportunities. And with both German and the UK regulators almost identifying this opportunity, they're also revamping their clinical trial setup timeline to see whether they can review and approve these trials faster to take advantage of this situation and thereby, hopefully increase our business share in these two countries. I mean, the UK government issued the UK life sector plan just last week, focusing on the future of life sciences, including clinical trials in the UK. So building on kind of the same momentum here to see how can we bring more clinical trials, get medicines to patients faster here in the UK. And having said all of that, the key kind of proponents of why people do human challenge trials, it remains strong. Vaccines have taken a little bit of a backing, let's say, with the new government in the US, but you have to remember around 45% of the human challenge trial work we do is in the antiviral space. So the reduction in uptake in vaccines, or maybe say reduction in the R&D spend for future vaccine development, but all that will basically mean that you will see increase in infection rates. And this is something we've already seen, for example, in Texas with measles, where you saw a reduction in MMR uptake and an increase in infections. And considering 45% of our work is antivirals, we still have a good market to do human challenge trials. So human challenge trials will remain our core business, but we now have the ability to do a good amount of work in new therapeutic areas, whereas before we were mainly focused on infectious diseases only.
Some great opportunities there, but I take it these macro headwinds are impacting your weighted contracted order book. Can you update us on your order book and your sales pipeline?
No, you're right, it has. And our order book as of end of June of this year was around 40 million pounds. And this is, net of the cancellations that we've seen. Some of the contracts that we haven't signed that we know we will sign are obviously not included yet. So going forward, I've got very, very high hopes. As I mentioned, our sales pipeline is strong, not just for human challenge trials, but also for the service line that the CRS is working on, and also our laboratory. So I expect our proposals submitted this year to be significantly higher than in 2024, both from human challenge trials point of view, but also from our laboratory services we're offering and CRS. So I'm fairly confident that this pause in signatures can only last so long, and at some point the pharmaceutical and biotech companies have to start making decisions to propagate their drug development going forward. And I think now things seem to be settling down. People are more or less know what's going to happen with the HHS, and now moving forward into developing drugs, and we will be right there to take advantage of that.
Mo, you're in the process of recruiting a new chair for the company. Can you provide investors with an update on where you are now on that process?
Yes, absolutely. So we, as a board and the nomination committee, we have basically singled out a candidate, and once we've completed the due diligence, we hope to make the announcement of when this person, the name and the identity and the start date of this person. So the process is well on its way, and we're towards the end.
And looking ahead, what's next for hVIVO?
So for this year, we are looking to deliver 47 million pounds in revenue. We previously said that we will, alongside this revenue, we will probably deliver mid-single-digit EBITDA. Now, the fact that we've done some additional work with regards to cost controls and so on, we think that EBITDA loss will be less, so probably low single digits for the year. So it has been a challenging year, no doubt about that. But I think the company has reacted really well. The team has pulled together to make sure that we we control our costs while at the same time diversify our offerings. The company has a very strong foundation. We have the facilities, we have the people to ensure that we react quickly when the market does turn around. And I think that's something is really key. The headwinds are there right now, but as I said, we are seeing some abatement in that, and we see more contracts coming through as we work through this year. So when the market does normalize, we will be in a very strong position. And one of the reasons why I'm confident is because we're no longer a single trick pony, right? So majority of our work historically has come from human challenge trials, but only in infectious diseases. Now, for example, with the addition of CRS, for example, almost 2/3 of the work they've signed this year has been in cardiometabolic diseases like obesity. And everyone knows the increase in interest and the R&D spend in obesity. So we are taking advantage of that situation. Having that diversity means that going forward, we have access to a much greater market than with just human challenge trials alone in infectious disease. So I'm very confident that going forward, we will deliver strong results.
Mo, I hope you'll keep us updated on your progress. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Well, thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Very welcome. Mo Khan, Chief Executive of hVivo.